I want to talk to you about a subject that you might never have thought about, and that is jealousy and grief. Do the two go together? Yes, they absolutely do. Now, as Christians, we often think automatically jealousy is sin. Jealousy at its root is envious. I'm envying what somebody else has. 10 Commandments is that I should not covet. Jealousy and envy are coveting. And therefore, when I feel that, I need to repent. I need to say, God, that I'm sinning, and I need to shut that down. That would be a mistake when your jealousy is a part of grief. And I'm going to show you how that jealousy is a sign and it is something that you need to feel and you need to recognize and you need to work through rather than saying, this is sin and I need to shut this down. So how does that happen? Well, people will often ask me and they'll feel bad about themselves and they'll say, I'm a single mom. I desperately want to be married. When I see other families, especially around the holidays or celebrating a birthday together, or a couple walking hand in hand with their kids beside them at a park or a beach or down the street, I just have this deep pain, and all I can think about is I don't have that, and I want that, and that's wrong. And until I can let go of that, God's not going to give me that. Until I can be content in the situation I'm in and accept it, that God's not going to give me that. And I don't think God's going to withhold that from you just because you're feeling that grief over not having something that's pretty normal and pretty important to us as people. I don't think that God's condemning you. I think he's understanding the brokenness and the pain and your heart, and that it's something that you work through and it's something that you feel. So let's talk about that. When you're grieving the loss of something, you unless it's fresh, you're not thinking about it all the time. It's there, something that you desire, something that is missing, whether it's a child that you've lost, whether it's a marriage that you've lost, a friendship that you've lost, a job that you lost, whether it's a dream that's lost, you're not married, or you haven't been able to have children because you're infertile and you're struggling with that, and you're going to the doctor and you're working on it, but it's not working, or you've had miscarriages, or whatever it is. You're not going to feel that loss continually front and center. But there are times when you're going to be reminded of it. And often the times that you're going to be reminded of it are the times where you see something where somebody has what you don't have. And it is going to pull up that grief, pull up that loss. And it's going to feel like jealousy. And if you mistake it just for jealousy, that feeling of, oh, I want that and I don't have it and it hurts, then you will shut down the grief and you won't process it, because you can only get to acceptance, which is at the end of the grief process, and hope for what's coming and hope in your future, when you have gone through all the stages of grief. You go through the denial when you first learn of it, you go through the anger, through the bargaining, through the sadness, and that deep pain of that loss, where you feel just your whole heart is on the floor and you crying and you feel hopeless. And then finally acceptance, but you don't get there if you don't go through all those other stages. And when that loss comes up and you feel that pain and you feel that sadness, or you feel that anger over, why do other people have that and I don't have that? Why did God allow my child to die, but other people's children have not died? Not that you're wishing for anybody's children to die. You are not. But see, these are all thoughts of the process, of the grief process. If you don't let yourself feel them, you're going to be stuck. You want to work through those things. So when something happens, when you're struggling with infertility and you see someone with a new baby, or somebody close to you, even your sister tells you she's pregnant, or when your friend does, or when you're divorced and you see couples together and it hurts, or maybe you lost your husband, you're a widow, and now you see your friends with their husbands sitting in church, or going out together at dinner at a restaurant and you're alone, or you're just with your child or just with your grandchildren. All of these things will pull that up. Somebody talks about their job promotion. You just lost your job. You lost your house. Somebody talks about just buying a new house and moving into their new house. Recognize that this is a sign of grief. I remember when this hit me, and it actually prompted me to write a devotional about this, is I walked into a fundraiser in a home, really nice home. And at this moment, I've got 3 daughters, and at this moment, there was some problems going on with our adult daughters, and there was a little bit of brokenness in our relationship, and it was very hurtful to me. I was anxious about it. I was afraid of, will it get healed? Will things be okay? It's very important to have your family intact. Very important. Very hurtful when it is not. We walked into this home and they had a massive, massive, I mean, massive picture, like, what was it? 5 feet by 10 feet of a family portrait painted. And they had 3 daughters. And everybody looked perfectly healthy. Oh my gosh, what happened? It came out of nowhere. I literally had this sword to my gut, and it just, all I could feel, all I could think about was that, and it just was awful. And all I did was attend to that and recognize, oh, yeah, this is hurting. This is grief, the grief that I'm working through to go through this. Now, if it's covetousness and it's the root is different. It's I want what you want. It's kind of superficial. It's kind of callous. It might even, I want it and I don't want you to have it. There might even be kind of that going on, or kind of an attitude of I deserve it. And that is not at all what it is when it has to do with the grief. With the grief, it's the pain of the loss. So I just sat with it and recognized this is part of it. This is stage I'm at with this. I get to feel it. I get to be there. I get to work through it because can't fix it, can't change it. This just pulled it up. Now I get to feel it, and I need to work through it the best that I can. There has been healing in my life. This was years ago in our relationships. I'm very, very grateful for that. But there are other times that something, that I'm struggling deeply with in my life where the same thing will come up. I give myself grace. I want you to give yourself grace. I want you to understand the grief process. It's not over in a moment. It's not neatly wrapped up in a little package. You put a bow on it and you put that away and you say, okay, I've grieved this. I'm never going to think about it again. No, something comes up like that. It's going to blow it open, especially if it's still raw, you haven't fully processed it, or you just tucked it away for a while and you haven't been attending to those things. We got to feel it when it comes up. We got to work it through to acceptance. God is capable of standing there with us, of being on the floor with us, being next to us when we're brokenhearted. He doesn't leave us alone. The brokenness is part of being human. It's part of living in a broken world. So I'm going to remind you, please recognize that jealousy can be a part of grief. And if you are feeling jealousy as a part of your grief, please give yourself grace to recognize it and to work through it rather than condemning yourself for having it. Here's some scriptures. Psalm 34:18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. No matter how low you go, God's there with you. Psalm 30, verse 5, for his anger lasts only a moment, but his favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may be for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. We don't stay in that place forever. the grief does get better. That is the purpose of the grieving. Genesis 30:1-6. When Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, she became jealous of her sister. Why? Because she was deeply pained that she was not bearing children. So she said to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." Jacob became angry with her and said, "Am I in the place of God who's kept you from having children?" Then she said, "Here's Bilhah, my servant. Sleep with her so that she can bear children for me, and I too can build a family through her." So she gave him her servant Bilhah as a wife. Jacob slept with her, and she became pregnant and bore him a son. Then Rachel said, "God has vindicated me. He has listened to my plea and given me a son." Because of this, she named him Dan. Rachel was dealing with the same thing. Now, back then, they were able to give their concubines to their husbands, and there wasn't anything immoral about it. And, it was part of what they did. So I'm not recommending that, but I'm just saying that she recognized that the grief, the jealousy that she felt was related to the inability to give her husband children. And on the flip side of that, there's scriptures about her sister Leah, that when Leah wasn't loved by Jacob, that God recognized Leah's pain and her brokenness, and he gave Leah children because he saw that Leah was not loved and recognized how painful it was for her to be a woman in a marriage where she was not loved and her sister was loved. So God gets it. God understands. He's not condemning you. He is working with you, helping you, and comforting you. Be willing to be comforted. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you go to Change My Relationship and check out my classes. Thank you.